Hello and welcome back to CS38 Racing, and we are here at Aragon, a track that I kinda dread, but hey, look at this crazy action that happens during the race. So if you like that, give it a thumbs up, hit that subscribe button, stick around for the rest of the race. It was a little bit of a difficult weekend. There was certainly some pros and there were certainly some cons, so let's jump into it down here at CS38 Racing. Okay, so the weather was looking wet for free practice 1. Practice was dry but cloudy. Sprints, everything else from there was a dry weekend. So let's jump down to the track and see what our practice session brings. So free practice. It was pretty much a waiting game. So the track was wet at the first half of, well, pretty much the first 40 minutes of practice was completely wet. We went out on mediums, it felt really slippery, there was no grip, it was all over the place. So then we tried to put on some softs, changing the front brakes to see if that made any difference. Unfortunately, it didn't really make any difference. There was a huge lack of feeling when it came to the feeling in the wet, so we decided to wait until the track started to dry, take a risk going out on the soft tyres and just seeing if we were able to put in a good lap at all, which according to the split sectors we were doing okay. So now that brings us to talking about our track guide for Aragon. In fact, I don't really want to do a track guide for Aragon because it is not a strong track for me. I've never gelled with the style of the track. It's just, I don't know, I find it very not labouring, but it grates on me quite badly. I just don't like it. I really dread the part of the season where it goes to Aragon because I know I'm going to be losing time. I'm not going to be that competitive. Coming off the back of Austria, that's not what we wanted. We wanted to ensure that we were going to be having a competitive round. So Aragon definitely didn't make me feel confident about our prospects for the race on Saturday and the race on Sunday. The track itself, I think the track is quite interesting. I do think the racing at Aragon can be quite interesting, but for me it's just not a personal favourite. So I find it does have flowing sections, but I find it very stop and go, and particularly with the way the Honda handles, it's very up in the air or down on the front, so we can't get that front to stay down, unfortunately. So anyway, the track, that ended the session there with that, meaning we ended in first with a 149.462. Surprisingly, it was good to have that, a little bit of confidence going into the practice session. Okay, so practice. Unfortunately, our hopes came crashing down when it came to practice. We were stuck at the bottom of the grid for most of the practice session. As you can see, we're in the final 20 minutes here and we have lifted ourselves up to 18th position. It was a lot of playing around with settings, ensuring that we got the right feeling on the front. Even though MotoGP is very dominated by how you control the rear, at the moment it has been, this session I was really focusing on getting feeling on the front because you spend a lot of time braking while turning, which doesn't give you a huge amount of stability, and you've got a huge ability to lose the front, especially into that corner there. So we just made sure that we were able to have good, strong feeling on the front, and that would enable us to have confidence at least on the front. And if you have confidence, then I have confidence to make moves into the corners, make overtakes. So I think for my riding style, I prefer feeling confident on the front. I prefer agility in a bike, not necessarily outright speed. So that came to the conclusion of practice where we finished in 18th. So overall, it felt pretty good. Now let's jump down into qualifying. We're in the bottom half of qualifying. We are the fastest Honda, just double checking. Yes, we are the fastest Honda. And we are looking to get ourselves, I feel we have enough pace to get into that top 2 where Alex Rins and Marco Bezzecchi are sitting. But we're just going to have to see how it goes. Track is still relatively cold, but I feel if we go out on a medium tyre first up, it might give us the opportunity to, because we had some pace in the last practice session on a medium tyre. Let's see if that medium tyre we can extract anything out of it today, seeing that the temperature in the track is a bit warmer. But if not, we're going to revert back, do a run on the softs, and see if that brings us any better results. So now that we're in qualifying, it does come down to your ability to maximize the bike over one lap, hence qualifying. But I find into this last corner, it's quite hard to pick your line. You can kind of take a tight line, but it compromises exit speed, or you can take a longer sweeping line and try and ensure that your corner speed stays high. But then again, you've got to watch for people being able to make a move on the inside. Come into turn 1, a 90-degree corner, flicking back into turn 2. Now you're feathering the throttle through here, keeping yourself in third gear. I click up to fourth and back down to third just to use a little bit of engine braking. Run it out wide, then come back through into turn 4, and here you're trying to stay smooth but braking at the same time to get the bike to hit the apex. Then here's where I feel like I lose a lot of time. I have to quick shift to get the bike to actually turn and to get any traction. Heavy on the brakes into turn 7 whilst turning, then drop the bike down onto the ride height device and ensure that we've got good speed into turn 8 and turn 9, the reverse corkscrew here. Back on the power here, clicking up into third gear, then just feathering the throttle as we come around turn 10, the Marquez corner, and then back onto the power. And as we get on the power, you've got to make sure that we keep an eye on where those braking markers are, because if you brake a little bit too late, you're going to be shot straight off into the gravel trap there. We come past the iconic wall at Aragon, through turn 13 where Alex Marquez and Pecco had their tangle in 2024. We flick through another corkscrew sort of chicane there and down the long back straight. As you can see, the bike just wheelies the whole way through fourth gear, so we're still trying to find a way to best manage that. Manually at the moment, it's just ensuring that I don't accelerate as much and short shifting. We're coming to the long turn 16, flicking into turn 17, back on the power to get drive down the finish straight. So that puts us with 148.409, so we've still got some time to find here. Currently we're sitting 1.8 seconds ahead, but I don't think our pace is going to hold for that. Off in the second sector, 3/10 off. Oh, we've gone over the inside curb and we're down, so let's return to the pits.
We're with shots from pit.
Okay. Let's see if we can go for one more run on the medium tyres, because I do feel like we have some pace on it. Oh, now we're down to fourth, so it's Raul Fernandez it is, and Bezecchi that are looking to get through currently. But I'm going to change. I think we need to go out on the soft tyres, give ourselves a couple of laps to adjust. So just over 6 minutes on the clock. We're going onto the soft tyres now. We're going to run traction control 2, anti-wheelie 3, engine braking 3, and power mode 3. Braking heavy into turn 1, but we're deep. Okay, we're just up. We could get a few tenths back here. Oh, and we hit the curbs and we're down. Let's return to the pit, go back out on these soft tyres, and we're just going to have to go for one last run.
The rider makes his...
If we went out on the softs early, we probably could have given ourselves a chance at having a good couple of laps on the tyres, ensuring that we could get ourselves into a rhythm. Okay, we managed to get past one of the trackhouse bikes there. We are currently putting ourselves into a faster lap time, but it is marginal. We are up in the first sector by thousandths of a second. I'm out of the reverse corkscrew. We're still sort of teetering around the same time. Oh, the rear stepped out. That's massive crash there. Unfortunately, that ruined our chance of being able to get into that top qualifying position. We might have been able to challenge for the top 2. Just gonna nudge Mir out of the way here. Or is it Marini? One of the two. Oh, we've got clipped on the rear. That's taken us down. That's it. That's the end of our session here. So we can hope for a best start of 17th. Because I don't think we're going to get anything out of this lap. It's already an invalid lap anyway. So rather disappointing. It did feel like we had the pace to be challenging for positions towards the top of this qualifying session, but it's racing and anything can happen, so I guess we have to account for that.
That concludes the first official
Okay, so
MotoGP
7th in qualifying 1, that's where we're going to have to start from in the race. We're still the top Honda, Luca Marini just behind us as well, so we do have some improvement to have to make. Let's see if we can catch up any more ground in the sprint race or the full length race. Okay, it's sprint race time, so we've only really got a couple of soft tyres left, so we've got to consider that as well. I think we're going to run a used soft rear tyre because I think we'll have enough grip. So let's see what we can do in this race. Here we go. Put the bike into first gear. Got a relatively bad start compared to the other Hondas around us. Got Marini there clipping us on the inside. Mir is also on the inside through the turns. We've just sort of bumped into the back of Taka there. Trying to weave our way through. It's very messy at the back end of the field here. Got track limits warning. Another track limits warning, so we've got to watch out for those track limits warnings. Okay, so now we've got behind Acosta. It seems like there's a bit of a train up towards the top 10, so 9th is the last points position in the sprint race. We're trying to make up that ground, trying to get around Costa. Audacious move that part of the track, but we've got to try and get in the slipstream. We've got to try and make a move. Easing on the brakes in turn 1. We've managed to gain a little bit of ground. Let's flick into turn 2. Lost a little bit of time there, but we do gain through the mid-corner section, which makes me think we would probably quite well suit Aprilia or Yamaha. But if we get the chance to go to Ducati, I feel like that would be good as well coming towards the end of this season. So we can see we have strong enough pace to be keeping up with Acosta. We just need to be able to make a move on Acosta here. We don't want to stay behind him for the rest of this sprint race. Here we go, we're looking to make a move up the inside. There's just a bit of contact there. We managed to make it, but Acosta goes back through. We take that undercut, and we're back through on Acosta. We've sealed the position. That's for 14th place. And we have to see what we can do to catch up to Raul Fernandez here, who's having a phenomenal round in Aragon on the Aprilia. So that is our previous team from the previous season. Okay, heavy on the brakes again into turn 1, trying to make up some time on the brakes. Made up some more ground in this first sector on Raul Fernandez. Looking to make an audacious move around the outside, try and get an undercut, but it hasn't worked for us here. Though we're still holding that inside line into the reverse corkscrew, closing the door into turn 9, but we've run a bit wide, which is going to let Fernandez have a sniff. And then we are now looking to get onto the tail of Alex Marquez. We close in a lot on the brakes here. We have better stability on the front, hence why most of this weekend I've been trying to get a setup on the front. That gives me more confidence, because if I have more confidence into these heavy braking corners, I'm going to be able to make up time. Because I know that I'm going to lose it on acceleration and a little bit down the back straight. Okay, it's the last lap now. We've done a best lap for ourselves of 147.236. We've gone way wide into Miguel Oliveira there. Got caught in the slipstream with the braking and just completely punted him wide. I'm surprised we didn't get a warning or a ride-through penalty for that one. Oh, just a warning. Okay. So it also looks like on track ahead of us, Quartararo has to take a long lap penalty. So we will inherit 10th place. But we definitely don't have enough to catch Marquez at this stage. As we come into the last lap now, cross the line for 10th place. Okay, so Pecco won the sprint, Martin in second and Bastianini in third. We're still the top Japanese manufacturer, so that's a positive out of that race. And we were doing low 147s, which, well, that's actually going to put us on podium pace. So a bit better pace than I was expecting. But overall, 10th isn't bad. If we could have got 9th, it would have been good to have double points weekend. But there's not a huge amount that we can really do about that. That puts us 8th in the championship. So we've lost a bit of ground on Maverick Vinales and Aleix Espargaro and Marquez ahead of us. We've got to keep that in mind as we go ahead into the race. Hopefully we can score a few more solid points.
See, we're heading to the starting grid where everyone is ready for the start of the race.
Okay, it is race time. We're going to run a soft front and a soft rear. Let's see if that gives us the grippiness that we need in this race to get the pace on par. I'd like to aim for a top 5. Don't know if that's going to be possible. Got a bit better into turn 1. Into that first sector, we've just gone over the curbs. We're trying to make our way through on the curbs, around the outside of a couple of riders. Up the inside of Alex Rins there, had to make a bit of a late dive. Now we can see Alex Marquez just ahead on track. Acosta's also had a pretty good start also. Okay, now we're seeing that there's a big group here to the top 10. Hopefully we can put ourselves in a position to get into the top 10. We're trying to find the right line through the turn 16 and 17. on the inside of Alex Marquez and on the inside of Pedro Acosta. Almost lost the front there as well. Costa's coming back around the outside to try and hold the line, but we closed the door and we've managed to get through. Now we can see that Quartararo is ahead of us. Alex Marquez has just crashed, so whatever that altercation was has thrown him out of a good rhythm. Now we can see Quartararo and Miguel Oliveira. There's a good sort of 4-rider battle here between the 3 Aprilias and the Yamaha man of Quartararo. If we can get through in Quartararo, that's going to give us the opportunity to be top Japanese manufacturer. Pecco Bagnaia has crashed. A rare mistake here from Pecco Bagnaia. Whoa, and that's caused a whole knock-on effect. There's Pecco Bagnaia trying to make a move around the outside. Binder's got him covered. We're going to go for an inside lunge on Oliveira. And now that we've got through on Oliveira, there is Fernandez and Aleix Espargaro that are engaging in a bit of a battle. Let's see if we can catch up to them, because that would be for 7th position. Do a 148.119. Whoa, we had a massive moment there. Almost going down. Let's let Miguel Oliveira get back onto our rear tyre. And it's also unsettled us a bit into this sector. Okay, now Aleix Espargaro and Raul Fernandez have moved a little bit ahead of us, but we do make up ground on this braking sector. There we go, we've got close. Is it going to be close enough to make a move down the back straight? Don't think it is. No, it's not. So we're going to have to wait another lap to see if we can get through on them. Oh, Aleix Espargaro's made a bit of a mistake there. Again, he's hit the curb, so he's gone a little bit slower. Going to try and make an undercut. We're able to. We push him out wide on the track. We do a 148.038. So it is our personal best lap time so far of the race. At this halfway point. Braking heavy into turn 7. Trying to do our best to be able to catch Fernandez. It's probably a bit too far now to try and catch Digia in 6th position. But again, we gain a lot of ground into turn 12, sorry. Which gives us the hope that we can get through on Fernandez. Braking heavily into the last turn. We're very wide. Braking into turn 1. We don't want to get stuck in the slipstream and create a mistake, but we also need to try and start pushing to get past Fernandez, because we're kind of stuck in a little bit of a sort of no man's land, trying to pass him at the same time as we're trying to cover Aleix Espargaro behind us. We definitely gained ground on Fernandez into those sort of heavy braking corners. And able to get in the slipstream, and we're going to try and take a little bit of a wider line. We do go across the line for our fast lap of a 1:47.7. So we really need to make sure that we can put some pressure on Fernandez here. We do gain large chunks of time, but we're then not able to then keep that gain that we've made. Well and truly wide into turn 7, so that's already lost the time that we did find on Fernandez into the first half of the lap. Yeah, now we're just starting to get a little bit raggedy because we're wanting to get that 7th position. Again, we gain a lot of time into the braking of turn 12. Now we're trying to get into the slipstream, see if we can make a move into the final corner, but we're never close enough. Had a big twitch coming into turn 14 that caused us to lose time on Fernandez there. The last lap, we've lost a couple of tenths on Fernandez, so I think it's a bit much to ask for 7th, but it's a pretty good haul for a top 8 finish, considering we did start in 17th. We do show that we have enough pace to catch up to Fernandez, and if we were bullish enough, we would be able to make a move, but we're not close enough and we're not getting enough traction out of the corners. This is the closest we have been quite some time. We could have, if we braked a little bit later, could have tried to force a move there on Fernandez. Not in a position that we can really catch him. 8th place, not too bad. So Franco Morbidelli got the win from Bastianini and Marc Marquez. Vinales 4th, Martin 5th, DG 6th, Fernandez 7th, ourselves in 8th. So we were the top top Honda, top Japanese manufacturer in the race again, so pretty good run there for us. Okay, so that puts us 8th in the championship as well, so we finished 8th and finished 8th in the championship, and we've got a few points that we could make up on Aleix Espargaro, possibly Marc Marquez. 8th in the Teams Championships and 4th in the Constructors. So that's done some good for our reputation as well, thankfully, after the horrible Austria round. Okay, now it looks like, we're versing Marc Marquez, so that's a bit of an uphill battle considering we're on the Honda and he is on a Ducati. So that's going to be an interesting end to the season. So next episode will be into the doubleheader of Misano. Let's see what we can do there. Vinales says it was a good weekend. We're in front of C Racing and getting ready for another weekend. Let's keep everything cordial. No need to burn any bridges right now. If you've liked this episode, make sure to give it a big thumbs up, hit that subscribe button, and hit that bell notification so you don't miss a single episode. That all rounded out for this one, guys. Make sure to stay safe, have fun, keep playing motorbike games. See you on the next one. Bye for now.